Om Swastiastu. Namaste. Welcome to our step 2 of the Ritualize Your Life Challenge. I am Sharada Devi. I am your guide and ceremonialist, and here with you for the next 35 more days, and then maybe we just continue the rest of our life. That's the idea. And we start with one step at a time, and then eventually every step of our life becomes a ritual. And it's so nice to be here with you again. Say hello, please let me know where are you joining from. I see Rebecca and Theo is here, and Erin and Fritze, so sweet, Lydia, Kias, and I'm so touched by all of you. Thank you so much for all the love and the support and the celebrations that have come through. It really warms my heart, my belly, and it touches me very deeply to feel all of you and see so many of you desiring to ritualize your life and showing up here and having made this commitment to join these 36 days. And it is a challenge, and we don't know if we're gonna be able to really show up every day. Like I mentioned yesterday, there are countless obstacles, unseen factors, but with the grace of the universe, the grace of Ganesha or Ganapati, that which removes obstacle, will be able to continue and accomplish with these 36 days. And by the end, we have learned all these mantras, and if not in Sanskrit, that is totally fine. But you can learn it in English or in your mother tongue, that is most important, and the gesture, and to bring in the attitude. Like it's all about the attitude. Erin, thank you. The attitude. That is really what matters and what counts. And so we saw yesterday that the attitude that we are invoking is one of becoming a contributor, and the one that has the deep sense of belonging and a natural sense of gratitude, because the contributor discovers, knows its blessing, her blessing, his blessing, their blessing, the infinite given grace of the universe, and we cannot but give back. And the attitude is one of, how can I give back? Instead of, what can I gain? What can I take from you? And there's nothing wrong with wanting to gain something. We all want to gain at the end. What do we want to gain? Freedom, really. Freedom from pain and suffering, from dukkha. But freedom is actually something that we do not gain. What? We do not gain freedom? No. Freedom is already gained, is already accomplished. We call that praptasya praptihi, accomplishing the already accomplished. Freedom is your nature. Freedom is your nature. It's not something that we gain. In reality, we are losing, we are letting go of all these limitations. This jnana mudra, this gesture of wholeness, I unfolded this yesterday, like this fellow that has identified with the limited self, the body, the mind, the senses. And as long as I see myself as a limited being, I will suffer. I cannot accept myself. I have a sense of inadequacy. And so it's that self, yourself, not even a higher self, not a supreme self, not a self with the capital S, just yourself. The one that is most known, most intimate to you, never away from you. It's you that is limitless. And this fellow represents Brahma, the one that is limitless. And it's that one, right, that I recognize myself as the limitless self. How am I going to recognize myself as limitless? That's a big question. That's a big question. And once we have that question, the Veda says, the teacher will appear. If I really want to know my limitless self, the means of knowledge will appear to see myself as such. But I have to have the right attitude. The right attitude means the attitude of devotion, of bhakti, of shraddha, trust. And so we develop this attitude in order to be able to see myself as limitless. And so pujas, rituals, it helps me to develop that attitude. That helps me become an adhikari, a fit student, to discover myself as already free here and now. So that is why we're actually ritualizing our life, to develop this attitude. So there's a question, could you repeat the Sanskrit phrase for accomplishing the already accomplished, please? Yes, it's praptasya, 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 praptihi. Praptasya, praptihi. That means accomplishing the already accomplished, which is yourself. So, how can we give back today? We give back in the form of gratitude, the recognition of what is given. And so the first step we learned yesterday, what was that? We recognize that we exist. Like last night, we didn't know if we would wake up this morning, but we all did. We are here today. We were given one more day to live. And so the moment we woke up, who did it? I would love to hear from you. Anyone woke up this morning and had this moment of, okay, recognition, anandoham. Anandoham. Anyone did it? And I'd love to hear how it felt if you did it. And like we become more and more of that moment before we identify with the body, with the role, and have that moment of, wow, I am and exist. I exist. I'm an existent being. I'm fullness here and now. I'm burying. Theo says, puts up hands. Yes. Lydia says yes, yes. Erle says yes. Okay, I love to hear that. And how was it to use this? Right? Yes, Andri also says. Katrin also, yes, amazing. And how did it feel? How did it feel to say Anandoham and waking up? It was beautiful to start with the hands of Abhayam. Abhayam means the hand of fearlessness. That's the mudra. And acknowledgement of fullness. Beautiful. Lydia says it was wonderful. Kate, yes. Erin says it felt like a rebirth. I love that. That's so beautiful. And I woke up this morning, right? And I was, because I'm doing this with you, we're all doing this together, right? And I was a little bit tired. And so I was like, not snoozing, right? Anandoham. Changing the patterns. Yes, said it silently when I was half awake. Beautiful, beautiful. That's it, exactly. Wonderful. So here we have acknowledged our existence, that we exist, Anandaha, existence, fullness I am. And fullness, that is something to be discovered. What is fullness? Fullness is that which has no beginning, no end, that which is without limitation. Everything in this universe is limited, but beingness itself, as sat, as existence, beingness, existence, has no limitation, is fullness. Existence, as limitless existence. And we don't really know of a limitless existence. We know existence, but we only know of a limited existence. Like everything we know in the world, we know that it exists. But everything we know that exists has a beginning and an end. And so what is that which is free from beginning and end? Free from the limitation of time? free from the limitation of space. Existence itself. And so that which is existence itself, not bound by time or space, it can only be you, your self, your nature. And that is to be discovered. That's what the purport, the purpose of the Veda, the body of knowledge, is to help us discover our limitless existence. And how better than to wake up in the morning and acknowledge that. Even though maybe we don't fully know it yet, and we're in the process of discovering that fact, but there is Shraddha, there is trust in that truth. Because I have to be limitless. You have to be limitless. We cannot be a limited being. If we would be a limited being, then life would be meant for suffering. And that cannot be. And so there is a pending trust. Like when you go to a doctor, like you hear of Ayurveda, the sacred natural medicine of the Vedic tradition, and you hear somebody telling you, I took Tripala. Tripala are the 3 fruits, they're very bitter. And somebody tells you, I took Tripala and then I got neutralized my constipation and finally I could go and poop again. So it helped them. Like you heard that it helped them. And then you think like, oh, maybe it can help my constipation as well. And then you go to an Ayurveda doctor or you buy it. Nowadays you can buy Tripala at Amazon or in an organic store. And then you try it with a little bit of warm water before going to bed and in the morning. And within the days, weeks, you start to eliminate. Yeah. Tripala alone is not enough. Like, why are we constipated? Because we're not digesting properly the emotion, the stimulus that comes in through our 5 sense organs. So you got to give yourself more time to digest your life, your experiences. So there's a pending trust in something that's helped someone. And so in the same way here, the Veda says you are that limitless being, that full being. And so, somebody discovered that truth and they are enjoying the fruits of that truth. Well, maybe if it worked for them, it can work for me. And so then there's a pending trust there. Shraddha. And Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Shraddhavan, the one that has trust, Shraddhavan labhate, will gain jnanam, knowledge, freedom. That's what the Veda says. So, there's another question. I repeated it silently, or sharing, it says, when I was in and out of sleep. Then took my mala beads into my son's room. He had gone downstairs. Only room to myself in the house. So good. Beautiful. So even did the mala beads. Wonderful. Wonderful. So, until we discover what we are, limitless, whole and complete, the Veda says, ritualize your life. And so, we're ritualizing our life to get out of the sense of that I lack, I am poor, I don't have enough, I'm inadequate, and to recognize the infinite blessing that is given here and now always, the infinite abundance, the infinite wealth that is here. So we started with step number 1, acknowledging our existence, Anandoham. And so what is step number 2? After acknowledging our existence, join me in breathing. Let's breathe in and out of the nose. You can follow me. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And I'm going to count and you're going to join me in breathing if you want. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to add one more thing. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4. And inhale naturally. Exhale naturally. Inhale naturally. Exhale naturally. And here there's a lot of wind today in Algarve, where I am right now. I don't know if you can hear it, but Hanuman, Vayu, is here with us. Vayu is the god of the air, the wind, and it's like here championing us, that we are honoring the gift of breath in our step 2 of ritualizing our life. Inhale. And now continue breathing. And I'm going to chant the mantra. And you're just going to continue breathing as I chant. Yoga kshema iti prana panayoho. Yoga kshema iti prana panayoho. And keep breathing the way I just shared with you. Yoga kshema iti prana panayoho. Yoga kshema iti prana panayoho. Yoga kshema iti prana panayoho. So relax and enjoy the immediate effect of breathing. That is our step 2 of ritualizing our life after acknowledging our existence. And so, step 2, the breath, is the awareness of your breath. Like after the awareness that you exist and the existence that you are is fullness, you become aware that you are breathing. And with that, we say to the universe, I do not take my breath for granted, because I didn't know if I would be able to breathe. My breath could go any moment. And so we're acknowledging the gift of Vayu, the gift of Prāna, Prāna, Apana. Prāna is the breath, but more than that actually, Prāna are the vital forces. So Prāna is not like only the physical breath, yes also, but it's also the subtle aspect. In the subtle body, we have the Prānas, and 5 Prānas, but here honoring the Prāna, the vital force, because of which we are alive, like that the body is still functioning. And so we are aware of our breath and acknowledge the natural inhalation and exhalation. So after Anandoham, where you acknowledge that you're existent being, you acknowledge that you are breathing in and out for a moment. The natural inhalation and exhalation. Just become aware of that first. And then if you want, you can add the retention, where what we did before. Inhale, and you hold the breath. Exhale. Hold the breath. Inhale. You can add that if you want, if you have time also. The truth is we always have time. It depends if you give time for this step. It's a matter of prioritizing. It's a matter of what we value in life. How valuable things are and how valuable this is for us. And so here you can include that retention. And then as you breathe, you chant the mantra silently. Like we cannot really do the whole pranayama, the sacred management of the breath, inhale and the retention, exhale, while chanting out loud. So then you will chant silently in your mind. So you can look at me like And so I'm repeating the mantra in my mind. And what is the meaning of the mantra? The meaning, and then I'm going to teach you properly the pronunciation. So the meaning is yoga kshema iti prana apana yoho. Prana apana. In the inhalation and in the exhalation, I see the goddess or the god or that which is sacred, infinite intelligent being, in the form of my inhalation, in the form of my exhalation. And in my inhalation, like the goddess protects. Kshemaha. Kshemaha means protection. Yogaha gains for me everything that I have not yet gained. It's so beautiful. So in my breath, I invoke the goddess. I say now here goddess, but if you don't, can also say in my breath I invoke the God. In my breath I invoke the sacredness. I invoke the universe, like whatever word resonates with you. You can also see in my breath I invoke Maria, or in my breath I invoke Buddha. I gotta sneeze. So in my breath I invoke that which is sacred. Inhaling, I receive. Exhaling, I am protected. Inhaling, I receive. Exhaling, I'm protected. Yogaha and kshemaha. Kshemaha means protection. Yogaha, the universe will gain for me what is not yet gained. So beautiful. So either you can say then this in English, or you can also translate it into your mother tongue, like in meiner Atmung, in meinem Atmik. Ich sehe Göttin. In meiner Atmung sehe ich die Göttin oder das Heilige. En mi respiración yo invoco la diosa o el dios o eso lo que es sagrado. Cuando inhalo yo recibo. Cuando exhalo estoy protectada. So you can translate if that feels more close to your heart, or then you say it in Sanskrit. So in Sanskrit now we're gonna go back to this. And so here there's some of the diacritical marks are missing. So what is a diacritical mark? You see this long line on top of the A, and so here a dot is missing underneath the S. There should be a dot. And prana underneath the N, prana, there should be a dot. Apana underneath the second N, there should also be a dot. So just imagine there are dots. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky with the diacritical marks to do them. So you can repeat after me. Yoga, yoga. So O is a vowel, is always long. Even though there's no diacritical mark on top, no long line, but O is always long because we have short vowels like A, and we have long vowels like Ah. We have I, we have I, we have R, we have R. So O is a semi-vowel and not a semi-vowel, the vowel, and it's always long. So yoga, yoga. And so yoga, and now the ka and the s is a conjunct consonant. And so when a conjunct consonant is preceded by a short vowel, which a is, the first member of the conjunct consonant becomes dvitvam, two-ness. And so the ka is repeated twice, almost like twice. So imagine there's like two kas. So then you do like this, yoga, and then you make a pause on the guttural on the ka, yoga kshema, yoga kshema. And it's a bit strong because the siblings like S, Sha, they're always strong. Yoga kshema. You're saying with me? Yoga kshema. And then the S, there's a dot underneath, an invisible dot. That means you roll the tongue back like this, and the bottom of the tongue touches the dome of the palate. Okay? If you don't fully right now can do all these funny asanas, all fine, no problem. Like we're doing the best we can. It's like a yoga asana practice for our mouth. And in Sanskrit, for Samskritam, we are invoking our tigers, our tiger mouth. So if you want, you can do like this. So really you, the jaw, and your neck is relaxed. It's so beautiful. And so, yoga kshema, yoga kshema. And so A, which is E in English, but in Sanskrit the E we say A, is also always long. So O and A is always long. Yoga kshema, yoga kshema, yoga kshema, yoga kshema. And then iti, iti. Yoga kshema iti, yoga kshema iti, yoga kshema iti. And then you see how I'm closing my mouth. So after the iti, you go into the pa, the pakara. So you go into the iti and you close the lips. Again, there we have a consonant. So the E is a short vowel, the pa becomes two. So it's as if there would be two pakaras. And that's why we have a little pause on the pa. Iti prāna, iti prāna. And so the N also has a dot underneath, which right now is not there, but we imagine it's there. Again, you roll the tongue back. The bottom of the tongue touches the dome of the palate. Iti prāna, iti prāna. So prana by itself is just prana. But then when it's prana plus apana, it becomes prana apana. That's a rule. When an a comes with another a, then it becomes a long a. And that's why we say like this, prana pana, prana pana. If you break it up, if you break the sandhi, which is the when two letters comes together, it creates a new sound. It's called a sandhi. Then it's prana apana, prana pana. But because it's together, it becomes prana pana. And so imagine the two dots underneath that we know it's a cerebral na. Prana pana. In Sanskrit, it's called murdhanya. Those letters. Prana pana yoho, prana pana yoho, prana pana yoho. Like an O is always long. Prana pana yoho, prana pana yoho. So now we put all of this together. Yoga kshema iti prana pana yoho. Yoga kshema iti, yoga kshema iti, yoga kshema iti prana pana yoho. Big breath and see how your posture is. So when we chant, like right now, because we're sitting here together, like in bed when you're doing it, you can already sit up after Anandoho. Yeah, Anandoho. You can sit up and then do it, or you can also still do it lying, like you see. But here now, because I'm initiating you into the mantra here, you want to be sit up, have a straight line, a straight spine, and the neck is relaxed and the head is relaxed. We call that samagriva shariraha. Sama means equal, griva neck, sharira means body, and samagriva shiras means the head. So shiras, that the head is also in alignment. Samagriva shiras shariraha, that the spine, the neck, and the head is in one line. So that's the way how we chant. And then you relax the shoulders, relax the belly. So yoga kshema iti prana pana yoho. Yoga kshema iti prana pana yoho. Yoga kshema iti prana pana yoho. And so now we are adding the swaras, this intonation, which we didn't have in the first step, anandoham. We simply, we said it. We didn't add a meter. Here now we're going to add the meter. Yoga kshema iti prana pana yoho. Yoga kshema iti prana pana yoho. Yoga kshema iti pranapanayoho. Yogakshema iti pranapanayoho. Let's do it 5 more times. Yogakshema iti pranapanayoho. 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 Okay, could you share a voice note in Telegram, please, with this mantra? Yes, I can do that. Those that are in the Devi Temple, we have a Telegram group in the Devi Temple. Everyone is welcome. It's like a membership, and I can share it there. I will also make a post and then record it on the post. Yeah. And yes. So how was that? Any questions? You can put in the chat. How is it to chant? This is a little bit a more complicated one than the yesterday. Yesterday was a little bit simpler, Anandoham. This one is a little bit more complicated. Right? So if you feel a little bit overwhelmed, feel the overwhelmedness. Oh, I'm feeling overwhelmed. And shake it out. Like it's okay to feel those feelings. I felt overwhelmed 100,000 times, just crying because we get reminded of being in school, and then suddenly fear of failure comes up, and judgments that I'm not good enough and it's too hard, and just witness if all of that comes up. If it comes up, like just be very loving to that part. Says it's okay, you can be here with me, and let's have fun together. Like let's enjoy this. It's like returning to the child that loves to learn, and it's okay to make mistakes, and we're here to learn in the grace that is given in gratitude. And we're not here to prove anything to anyone. We're not here to perform anything. We're not here to get good grades. None of that. Like that is not part of the qualifications to know Sanskrit or have the perfect pronunciation. It's just like a value, and it does, like Sanskritam is the most refined language, and we say it's Sanskrit, it creates a Sanskrita buddhi, so it creates a mind that is very refined, and so the language is a spiritual language. It's not a transactional language. It's a language that is here to reveal the truth of our existence, the truth of you, the truth of the God, the truth of the world, which is that we are one non-dual being. That's what Sanskrit is here for, to reveal. And so it's a phonetical language. And so when you pay attention to the proper pronunciation, it opens the nadis, the energetic channels in our bodies, and it purifies the Bahya Karana, the outer instrument, and the Antakarana, the inner instrument. And this, what is the instrument? Your body, mind, sense temple is the instrument. It's through which you experience this world, and through which you can understand and discover the already accomplished fact that you are whole and complete and limitless. So we are refining this body, mind, temple to abide in the absolute truth of ourself that is limitless. And Samskritam is this purifying tool. So, like, we can have this value, but we're doing it for our own sake, not for anyone else's sake. And even if I say, oh, this is not for me, then we have the English translation. In my breath, I see the sacred. Inhaling, I receive. Inhaling, I am protected. Exhaling, I will receive from the universe what I have not yet received, what I have not yet gained. And so that's such a beautiful upasana meditation on the breath. Like you can see the truth. Like all of us in the Western world, we're all anxious and afraid, even though we have so much, and we feel we have this lag, constant lag, even though we have so much. And so in the breath, in this second step, when we ritualize our life, our day, we see, I am protected. And you don't have to do anything. The breath is given, and you're protected, and you're given the breath. like on the exhalation, the next breath is already coming, and the universe is giving you what you need in order to be sustained. So in the breath, you see the truth that you're always protected, that you're always taken care of, and that the universe gives you what you need in order to live and thrive. So in that recognition, with that attitude, then you go out into the world. Your whole life changes. Your whole life. So profound. So you're saying, Ami is saying, amazing, it feels good. Lovely attitude, says beautiful, thank you for guiding so meticulously. My pleasure. I'm doing this because that's how my teacher taught me. Theo says, the mouse asana is challenging. Yeah. And it can also bring up a lot of shame because we don't want to show our toes. Like we're kind of, some of us learn not to show our toes or teeth. I've had a huge teeth complex my whole life, so it's been very challenging. But we get over all of that. Lydia says, it takes off the sluggishness. Slugginess. Yeah, it does. And it makes you, it makes you pay attention to the small things. Like, so, as we are so paying so much attention, not like to be a perfectionist. We gotta get out of perfectionism. But it's the value to pay attention of these details, so that in life we also pay attention to details. Kate says, love it. Is the last ha also one with a dot under? Yes, exactly. The last ha is a visargaha, we call it. And so there's also a dot, and then usually you would not see the O at the end. So if there is like a dot underneath the ha, then the O, how you see it here now, would go away. But because we don't see the dot underneath right now, the O is there. Yeah. Mariana says, David, do we have to coordinate the chanting with the breathing somehow? Yes, so at the beginning, now when we're practicing, we are chanting out loud. And so that's how we practice. When you chant a new mantra, you always want to chant out loud. And then we coordinate it with the breath at the beginning. So, Yoga Kshema iti Prāna Pānayoho. So here I'm taking one full breath, but I have quite strong breath. If you feel you're getting out of breath, then you pause in the middle. Yoga Kshema iti Prāna Pānayoho. So then it's 2 breaths. Both is okay. If you feel even 2 breaths is not enough, you can also Yoga Kshema iti Prāna Pānayoho. Because you want to say it with full power and really pronounce every letter. So Yoga Kshema iti Prāna Pānayoho. Yoga Kshema iti Prāna Pānayoho. So we coordinate it, and then once we've chanted out loud, so like my recommendation, if you can, 108 times today until we meet again, just to get it, like to really get it, to remember it. If you cannot do 108 times, maybe you can do 54 times or 36 times, 72 times. These are all the sacred Vedic numbers. 11 times. Then 3 times per day. Like when you do it as a step of your ritualizing that day, that moment, you can chant it 3 times. If you have not so much time, chant it 1 time. But like, to really practice it, we would like to chant it as many times as possible. And so first, until you feel clear in your pronunciation, you chant it out loud. And then you chant it silently, because we cannot do the breath as the breath awareness, right, and the retention with the chanting out loud. So then you will do it silently in your mind only. Christine, hello my dear. She says, thank you, wonderful. Kate says, beautiful. Hey Michelle, so good that you're here. Sana's arrived late, but we'll catch up. Yes, wonderful. Never too late. So Kate says, couldn't find the heart emoji, but thank you. Okay, great. Yes, great. So let's chant 3 more times. Yogakshema iti prana panayoho. Yogakshema iti prana panayoho. Yogakshema iti prana panayoho. So I know this is a little bit tricky one. The other ones that are coming, some are tricky, some are more simple. And so this is the step number 2. So first, my invitation is to simply just becoming aware of the breath itself, and just letting the natural inhalation and exhalation take place, and acknowledging, wow, I'm breathing, I've been given this breath, and in the breath I see the goddess. In the breath I see the sacred. I receive inhaling, I am protected exhaling. Such a beautiful meditation. And then as you breathe, you can do silently yoga kshema iti prana pana yoga. And then the mudra, you can place again the jnana mudra, or simply the abhaya mudra, the hand of fearlessness, on your heart, like here on the lungs. You can put again jnana mudra, or just put the hands here, right? And feel that breath. Yoga kshema iti prana panayoho. And take a moment for this breath to become bigger, and for the breath to take up your lungs, to take up space. And so, see, you can do it as you're still lying, but then also it's nice to actually sit up and then do a few rounds before the next step. Yeah? Lydia says, how do I combine the mantra silently with the breath, including the retention? How do I combine the mantra silently with the breath, including the retention? Well, because the mantra, when you do the breath, you don't chant it out loud, you only chant it mentally. You can try now. And so it requires some practice. So even if you say it in your own language, it's good that you write out the sentence, and then you say it in your own language also a few times, and then it's a coordination of first just breathing, and then you say it mentally, silently. Good. Any other questions? Okay. You mean inhale 1 repetition, retain 1 repetition, exhale 1 repetition, etc. Like you can see, you can do 1 repetition on the inhalation, because it depends how long your breath is. Like for some of us, the breath is a little bit shorter because we don't have the same breath capacity yet. I mean, we all have the same breath capacity, but because for some of us, we have been breathing very shallowly, so the inhalation is not as long as for someone who has been doing pranayama. So for me, for example, I can do 1 whole in the inhalation, and also the same the retention. Like for some of us, retaining the breath is we can retain it very shortly, and for some of us, because we've been practicing, we can retain it longer. And so, like if you have a little bit of shorter breath at the beginning, then chant mentally the whole, inhaling, holding, exhaling, holding. Yeah. It's a practice. Does it make sense? Okay, thank you for explaining so well. Okay, great. Is there a recitation during retention also? So for example, if I, like in my case, if I do it the whole yoga kshema iti prana pana yoho, then I inhale and I can do it 1. I can also do it on the retention, the whole one. But in that moment, you can also be just in silence and then do the second one on the exhalation. You can do both. You can play with both works. What is also beautiful is to be silent in the retention Because why do we also do the retention? To recognize the stillness and the silence that is always there. There's also a deeper meaning, and also like it also helps to regulate the nervous system scientifically. There are now also so many researches. But when we also in mantra chanting, we actually always pay attention when we do repetition, like japa, yoga kshema iti prana pana yoho. We pay attention to the silence, to acknowledge that there is a silence, like sound comes from silence, sound exists in silence, sound goes back to silence, just as much as the movement comes from stillness, exists in stillness, goes back to stillness. And so that breath retention, there is the acknowledgement of that which is in and through the inhalation and exhalation, that which is in and through the movement, but that which is free from movement, that which is free from prana, apana. What is that? That is yourself. That's the self. So that is also beautiful. So you can just be silent, but you can also chant it there. Pause is okay. Alexandra, Sharada, could you please repeat how do we say in Sanskrit the name of straight spine and head? Something about Sharira you said before. Yeah. So Sama, you can say Sama. Sama means same. Sama Griva. Griva means neck. Sama Griva. Shiras. Shiras is Shiraha. Shira means head. And then Sharira. Sharira means the body, the spine. So Sama Griva Shiras Shariraha. Sama Griva Shiras Shariraha. Sama Griva Shiras Shariraha. Sama Griva Shiras Shariraha. Sama Griva Shiraha, but it becomes Shiras because of the Shariraha. Sama Griva Shiras Shariraha. Sama Griva Shiras Shariraha. Who created your earrings? My earrings, they are created in Thailand. There is a shop in Chiang Mai, very sweet Thai family, next to the big road where the Thai market is. You know that night market? There. I can see if I can find the name. Sama Griva Shira Shariraha. That's it! Thank you, Theo. Sama Griva Shira Shariraha. And there's a lot of aspirates. Sama Griva Shira Shariraha. Sama Griva Shira Shariraha. Alexandra, thank you. And Shiraha, what does it mean? Shiraha means head. Head. Griva is neck. Sharira is... no. Griva is neck. Shiraha is head. Sharira is body. Thank you. Yes, I like them as well. Amazing. I love your questions. Yes, bring all your questions. Lydia is saying, obrigado, obrigado, obrigado. Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. My pleasure. So nice. So, shall we repeat step 1? At the moment, before we wake up. Right? Actually, it's before we wake up. Like, it's almost like you know you're waking up. You're like coming out of deep sleep into like waking. You're like, this moment before we identify with anything or anyone. I'm a no one. I'm a nobody. I exist. Anandoham. 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 And then I breathe. I see the goddess, the God, the sacred in my breath. Inhaling, I receive. Exhaling, I'm protected. Yoga kshema iti prana panayoho. Yoga kshema iti prana panayoho. Yoga kshema iti prana panayoho. And then, like throughout the day, you can bring in these mantras. Like, so whenever you're out about and you're overwhelmed, like Anandoham, you remember what you are. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, you breathe. I receive. I am protected. And you have that immediate recognition. Immediate, it's there always. You are always there. Your breath is always there. It doesn't leave you. Like the breath can leave you. But you can never leave yourself. And so you bring this step into your daily life. Like, so step number 1, Anandoham. Step number 2, hello Salome, hello Marigan, so nice you're here. Step number 2, like, acknowledging the breath. Right? And like now the wisdom of trauma, they are bringing now in this science, like the breath is one of the resourcing activities. Oil essence, one of the resourcing activities. Like when we get out of the window of presence, in the wisdom of trauma language, before it was called window of tolerance, but now they're changing to window of presence, so meaning when you're able to respond to the stimulus of life in an objective way, like we are in the window of presence. I'm not in fight, flight, or freeze mode, or fawn mode. But when I'm out of the window of presence or tolerance, I get into fight, flight, or freeze mode. We get into like a state of survival, and then we react to situations. And so then like the trauma, in trauma language, they say, okay, start to resource. You become aware of that and you resource, and you have your breath. Right? So they're discovering now what the Veda always already knew. There was never anything new, like that the breath is your friend, your prana, is your vital forces, Vayu. Is a name, is a god for the breath. Right? Vayu, and the son of God is Hanuman. And so, but it's beautiful because we can combine the ancient Eastern knowledge with the now modern Western knowledge and just feel more safe in that and more established. So is prana using our breath to animate the body? Is prana using our breath to animate the body? What does animate mean? So prana, like often we think just as the breath itself, but really the prana are the vital force. It's that which energizes the whole body physically, but also it helps we have 5 pranas. We say we have 5 pranas: prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. So the different movements, the different energies, the inhalation, exhalation, the downward movement, the downward force, the upward force, and the digestive force. To bring to life, animate. Is prana using our breath to bring to life? Yes, animate, exactly. Yeah. Animation, movement. Yeah, it's the prana. Yeah. Like it helps our body to become alive, to become vital, to detoxify all the toxins that are there in the body, that we inhale, that we eat, and the breath, the prana purifies the body. But the physical body and also the subtle body. So the yoga says it purifies your bahya karana, your outer instrument, your physical body, but also your subtle body, which is the mind. Because the breath helps us to develop a single pointed mind, like a mind that can focus on one thing for a certain amount of time. And then often there, like in the old yoga way, people would like use the breath and then go like frantically into breath work or pranayama. Like breath work is not really pranayama, but going to frantically just doing pranayama, and it can become a kind of wanting to control the mind and the emotions, and also a running away from the emotion. So we want to become aware of that. Like we do not want to run away from the emotion. We want to bring them to life and welcome into our heart, process the emotion, but then the breath helps us to come back to stability, to regulating ourselves, because we see that the breath is always present. I'm safe, like I'm taken care of. I'm not in danger. But the emotion sometimes can be so overwhelming, and then we feel like we're afraid to die, basically. And so the breath, like we come back to the breath and we see, no, I'm protected, I'm taken care of. And then ultimately, like relatively, yes, we die, the body dies, I as Ananda, as limitless awareness, existence, consciousness, it never dies. And anima, meaning spirit, so bringing spirit to body. Animals, animate. Beautiful. Yummy vitality, yes. Yes, the breath, right? The breath is our friend, the breath is our medicine, the breath is our vitality, the breath gives longevity, detoxifies, but not to get lost in the breath. Like, because eventually we will lose the breath, and then we have ourselves. Like the self we cannot lose ever. But in this way, we don't take the breath for granted. Right? And the breath also makes us feel things, actually. If I really use the breath properly and use the breath to help go into the different parts of the body, it starts to open the different channels of the body, like the different nadis, where the emotions are stuck in the body. And then the emotions come, and then you have the sound, right? And then the sound helps to purge the emotion from the body. Okay, wonderful. Thank you all. I love you so much as you are. Love. Sending you here much love from Portugal. And just want to share with you also that I have a very, very special immersion coming up in Portugal in October. It's called Nectar of You. 7 days in the most beautiful location by the Algarve, close to Algesur. And it's an immersion dedicated pilgrimage to go from separation to sacred union and discover the infinite wells that you are. So I'll share more about that in my upcoming lives, but already if you want to check it out. And it's for singles, it's for couples, men, women, and non-binary, and it's really dedicated to establish the most healthy relationship with oneself, but also with the partners, and especially partners, healing broken hearts. It's something very special that I've created, also part of my culmination of my healing, especially with the masculine. And if you also, I'm saying this now because like we plan, and it's already happening in 3 months, and it's good to plan ahead. Also, if you're thinking of coming to Bali, I talked about Bali yesterday, and to be in a contributing society for some time is really most beneficial, because then we see a living example of people who are actually contributors, and that also melts the heart. And so I have a 3-week training coming up, the priestess initiation, March 1st to March 22nd. So there's a deep dive if you want to become a ceremonialist and take people through the most important transitions in their life from birth to death. So those are the 2 life containers, big ones, Portugal and Bali. And in September I have a Vedanta retreat, only the teachings in Restange. That's a smaller one. And then there are many, many online containers. My Diamond, my mentorship, mastermind program is coming up. And the Devi Temple is a membership with 700 hours of teachings like this and rituals that one can join at any time and cancel also at any time. So, if you want to dive deeper into this well that is available to all of us here. Much love. Have a wonderful evening, morning, wherever you are. And let me know in the comment when I'm going to post the live and also the slides how it is going with this mantra. If things come up, if like resistance come up, if questions come up, bring it on. I want to know about it. And it's important for the questions to be answered. Much love. Om Tat Sat.